Hey, how y'all doing? This is Hunt 919 Truth, the sports coming to you with another segment. And this is a segment what I learned about Coach Prime's coaching staff after the win over UCF, where they won 48 to 21. So let me get right into some of the notes of the game. This showed the resilience and the fortitude of the Colorado Buffs to go into UCF on their home field, a hostile environment, and do what they did to put up 48 points. This is the best I've ever seen a Coach Prime coach team look on this level. They look good at Jackson State, so let me not say that. But in the Big 12, or since he joined Colorado, um, now after that, they showed a lot of fortitude, especially after the rare interception that Shador threw in the first series of the game. They recovered from that with a interception in the end zone. We also have to give them credit for beating the number one rated Russian offense in the nation. Last week they beat the number one pass defense in the nation. I don't know if you all knew that. In Baylor, Baylor actually had the number one pass defense last week, so they've beaten the number one rated offense in the nation. I mean, Russian offense in the nation, and they've also beat the number one rated defense, a passing defense in the nation. This game also shows you what can happen and how Colorado can look when the offense and the defense and the special teams are all playing together. As far as on a certain level, I know it can't always be like that, but when they put it all together, they can beat anybody in the conference. And they clearly show that when they play this way, they can actually blow out teams. Because I thought every game was going to be a close game because of how Colorado normally plays, but they did show that they have the propensity to blow out big teams. I have to admit, and I did a segment on this about how I was wrong in my prediction. Not that I was wrong, I'm not going to always be right, but that I was way off. So you can't always be 100% correct, but you can be 100% accountable when you're wrong. And I just held myself accountable for it. I did not see the defense stopping the number one rated Russian offense like they did, especially when I thought the game would be more rain involved, and it was nowhere near what I thought as far as the weather. I did not foresee the coaching staff at Colorado out coaching UCF's coaching staff, and they did. Travis Hunter should be on the Heisman ballot if he's not on it. Will he do it throughout the season? I think he can. I think he's too dynamic not to have him up there and not to really consider him. Again, I have them at worst 5-7, at best 6-6, and making a bowl game this year. It looks like they can surpass that, obviously. So we'll keep seeing how the games go. Colorado was out rushing UCF at the half 70 to 43, and they were out passing them at the half 225 to 133. So let me get into the offense. The offense, which is led by Pat Shermer and Phil Loadholt. It looked like Shermer had again more control over the offense because they had a good run to pass ratio. It was 35 passes to 25 rushes. Last week was a little bit better, but they look more balanced. They look more like a pro style offense. Like you can't just guess everything that they're getting ready to do, like we've been able to do in the past couple of games, really in the past year and a half. The offensive line held up very well. I'm very impressed with them. I'm gonna do a segment on them. The offense did get off to a slow start again with the early pick by Shador, which is something he never does. He did that in the first drive, but by halftime the offense had produced 27 points. Last game they produced 17 points at the half, so they stepped up 10 points more from their production as far as points before the half, which is excellent. For the game, Shador went 28 for 35 for 290 yards and three touchdowns and one interception. They had 128 rush yards, two touchdowns. Shador rushed for 15 himself, because I always like to count the quarterback's rushing rush yards different from the running backs. I give the O line an A as compared to last week. They had a C plus because they held up well. They only allowed two sacks, and I'm just you have to give them credit where it's due. This is the best I've seen the O line look at Colorado as well. That's why I gave them an A. So congratulations to them. Let me move on to the running backs. Running backs, which is coached by Coach Harrell or Coach Flea. I did a segment after the Colorado State game asking Coach Flea to fight for his running backs and in the running backs room to get them more touches, get them more involved in the game, get them more involved in the scheme. And obviously they've done that. I'm going to be arrogant and say that he saw my segment. He went to talk to Coach Prime about it. But they've gotten better and better week after week. It makes them more versatile as an offense. Last game they had 21 carries as a unit. This game they had 29 carries as a unit. The running backs went 24 carries for 113 yards. Between the Gustav and Welch, there were two touchdowns, both by Welch. The leading rusher was Hayden. He went 11 for 33. He came off of that high ankle sprain. I don't know how he's going to fight through that all season. Gustav went 4 carries for 39 yards. And well, Gustav and Welch. Both had a touchdown apiece. Was I think it was Hayden. I'm sorry, Hayden and Welch had a touchdown apiece. And they again, the running backs had a very strong presence in the game, which I was happy about. The rushing game itself, excluding Shador, went 29 for 128 for two touchdowns. I give them a B for production, the same as they got last week. Long as they keep them in the game and keep them, giving them a vital role within the game, within the scheme, that helps them win, and it gives Shador an easier path to win. He doesn't have to throw 40 times to be accurate, most of those plays and take all of that pressure on his own shoulders to try to win. You can trick the defense and running the ball a little bit, and it can be very productive. And we still haven't seen a great output by one individual running back. When that happens, it's going to be tremendous. So let me go ahead and move on to the wide receivers, which was led by Jason Phillips. The receivers again were very productive, very explosive. Will Shepard led the receivers with 4 catches and 99 yards on one touchdown. He had a 24.8 average per catch. Travis had 9 catches for 89 yards. This was the first time in the 5 games or since the beginning of the season that he did not have 100 yards receiving. Shador hit 8 different receivers last week. He actually hit 10 different receivers. And last week I spoke on how I like Will Shepard because he's very good at 50-50 catches. And that catch in the end zone he had was a 50-50 catch. He had a defender in front of him, and he also had a defender behind him, and he caught it over the shoulder. Beautiful pass, beautiful catch. So that was a great touchdown on his part. So they outperformed the not Baylor receivers. They outperformed the UCF receivers, but they were close as far as production. Colorado had 28 catches for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. UCF had 20 catches for 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that wasn't too far apart. The receiving room looked great, and they looked explosive just like they did last week. For the most part, how they've been looking doing this throughout the season, I give them an A. They just hold the offensive down. They hold the scoring down. Now the defense, which is led by Coach Vincent, Coach Lewis, Coach Livingston, Coach Hart, and Coach Mathis, the defense looked very, very good, very impressive. They were quick, they were fast, they were hitting hard. They played with a purpose. It looked like they knew their assignments. Damn near looked like they knew where the ball was going sometimes. So they was hustling to the ball. Number 24, Preston Hodge had a great interception in the end zone that helped them recover after Shador threw that first interception, the first drive of the first series of the game. He came back and got a great interception in the corner. So that was good to see him. Travis Hunter also got another interception where he kind of worked off of 3 different players and jumped the route and made a great catch. But that also happened because of the pressure. If you go back and look at that play, the pressure that was put on the quarterback, you can see that he read through his receivers. They looked to be all covered. His last choice was the guy that was out on the left. I don't know if I think it was a running back, and he was about to get hit, and he just threw it quickly. And Travis read that, picked it up, and had a diving interception. Number 41, Hill Green, looked very good again. He led with 6 tackles. He also had a sack. He's one of my favorite players to watch. He hits really hard. He's always around the ball. 25, Jalen Wester had a sack. Samuel, number 93, had a sack. Number 40, McCoy had 2 sacks. So it was good to see one of those guys get 2 sacks because I pull for those guys to get sacks and get pressure on the quarterback. Number 88, McNeil had a sack. The defense, again, only gave up 7 points in the second half, just like they did last week against Baylor. I don't think, well, I do know, Pete, that's very hard to do in football where the rules are all for the offense, where you can't touch the quarterback, you You can't touch the receivers. And for them to hold these teams the last 2 weeks to 7 points is saying a lot. Um, so that means they only gave up in the second half against North Dakota State 6 points, Nebraska 0 points, Colorado State 6 points, Baylor 7 points, UCF 7 points. So that means that they've only given up 26 points, if our math is correct, in the second half out of 5 games. That is crazy. They did give up 284 passing yards, 177 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. But again, only 7 points in the second half is tremendous. I gave this team, the defense, another A, and their coaches. The coaches is also involved in these grades, an A plus because they controlled the number one rushing attack in the nation. They did not let UCF control that game by running because I thought that if UCF could control the game by running, they eat the clock up and then make it so that Shador or the offense would feel like they had to score every time they got the ball. And that's pressure, added pressure. So again, I give the defense an A and those coaches for the adjustments they made in the second half, only giving up 7 second half points and controlling the number one rushing attack in the nation. You have to give them credit. The kicking game and special teams model looked good. He hit both of his field goals. He actually had lift on the ball. He looked like a power five or whatever they could, because they got all these powers now. But he looked like a good kicker again, so I was happy for him because I pulled for Mata. I'm a fan for him of his. In the last 2 weeks, the special teams I have given them a D. Last week I actually gave them an F. This week I give them an A. They look solid, good punts, decent kicks. Even though I know Coach Brown wants the kickoff to go out of bounds, but I give them an A. They look solid. They did not mess the game up. And they look good, and Mata look good. So the players of the game, Shador, he's showing us that he can involve the run within his game. He does not have to throw 40 times to still win the game. So I was, you kind of see him proud to not, play so selfish and let the running backs do what they do. The second guy was Travis, scoring the TD and getting an interception, affecting both sides of the ball. He's just a tremendous player to me. He's a tremendous talent to me. Then you have Will Shepard. He led the team with 99 yards with a 24.8 average and a great touchdown catch. I was happy for him. I know he's been looking for a game like that. If you watch well off, he's been waiting to come back. And I was looking at some of the press conferences after the game. He was telling Coach Prime he's back, and Coach Prime was like, "You never left," and that's what a good coach would say. So I'm happy for him, and their adjustments. The defense as a whole, with their adjustments that they made after halftime, was tremendous. Only allowing second half points, was tremendous. So the defense as a whole and the coaches, you just have to make them the players of the game. And again, they would not let the number one Russian offense in the nation beat them. So overall, this team looked very good. They look totally different than I predicted and than I thought they would. I'm going to hope that they keep this going, because it's fun to watch. I'm going to watch every game regardless from beginning to end, whether they win or lose. So it's better when they win. Um, and I'm happy for them, and I'm proud of them. And it is what it is. So you catch me in the next segment. They have a week off, so I drop some things in between time, some different segments, because I try to be different with some of the segments that I come up with. But congratulations to Colorado. They're now 4-1, and they're having a great season. It's been Hunt 919, Truth to Sports. Ride with me.